Alright, today's video is a bit of everything, and I mean that in the most chaotic way possible. We've got a woman who turned her laundry problem into a household economy, a pregnant neighbor who waddled home victorious with someone else's jalapeno dinner, a girl who broke up with her boyfriend and her friends are somehow the second worst part of that story. A bully who was asking for colored pencils the whole time? Yeah, that one's going to hit you. And an English woman who accidentally became Reddit's most wanted karma criminal over a bet in a pub. I'm not going to tell you which one broke me a little. Subscribe if you want to find out. Let's go. I secretly put money in my pants pockets so my husband will do the laundry. I put $5 to $10 a week in my clothes. He thinks he is getting one over on me because we both have a weekly budget. He doesn't know that he is part of my budget. If I even try to do the laundry, he is like, "No, I got it. Worth every red cent." This woman is not a wife. She is a project manager. A $5 to $10 weekly investment to completely outsource an entire household chore forever? That's not manipulation, that's a business model. I genuinely respect this more than most things I've read this year. Alright, let's see what the people had to say about this criminal mastermind. You're a fucking genius. No notes, no elaboration needed. This comment said everything in 3 words and I agree completely. Lemfow, this was the best read to date. He has sucker written all over his forehead. Makes me wonder what other sucker events occur in your household. Okay, this comment is a little mean, but also, fair question. If this is the laundry situation, what's happening with the dishes? The vacuuming? I need a full audit of this household immediately. I wonder if he knows but plays along because he loves you. This is actually the most devastating possibility. What if he figured it out on day 1 and just kept going? Because honestly, that's even more wholesome, and I wasn't prepared to feel things about laundry today. Well, I'm going to test this out on my wife this week and see if it makes her hate doing the laundry a little less. That would be a nice little stress reliever for her. And just like that, this woman accidentally started a movement. Somewhere out there right now, hundreds of husbands are stuffing 5s into their jeans. You changed lives today, ma'am. Alright, that was wholesome chaos. Next one is considerably less wholesome. My Reddit username is coolgirl-on-the-train. I am not really cool, but I commute daily on a train. So it's partially correct. I am an English woman, living in England. About 2 years ago, the fate that is called life landed an American guy in my local pub. My first impression was that he was different and a little odd. I was drawn to this oddness. It was cool and exciting, and it brings out my personality and inner quirks. About a year ago, we have become the best of friends. It's platonic, and it's amazing. It's a friendship like no other. Well, of course, being a typically reserved English woman, I had never heard of Reddit. The guy, who shall be known as Mr. X, obviously, is a hardcore Redditor and has an established account. He told me about Reddit, suggesting I set up an account and bet that I could never achieve the same amount of karma as him. I think it was more the smug grin on his face as he was looking down at me that had the greatest impact and made me more so determined. What I don't think he realized is that I am incredibly competitive with the determination and heart of a lion. The prize, if I did, would be a trip to Canada. I have never been west, so for me this would be incredible. This was 3 weeks ago. Over the last 3 weeks I have frantically posted all sorts of stuff in an eager attempt to work out what works. I have been called every name under the sun: karma whore, karma farmer, Aunt Susan, and to colloquially go back to Facebook. I have even been requested to stay on my side of the pond. This is my confession. This is why I have been behaving like Aunt Susan, the karma farming Facebook fiend. I apologize, and if you're interested, I will of course keep you posted. Confessions of the not so cool girl on the train. Okay, so a man made a smug face at a competitive English woman and accidentally created a karma grinding monster. This is entirely his fault, and I will not be hearing any arguments. Also, she called herself not cool, but she moved to Reddit, figured out the algorithm in 3 weeks, and is about to win a trip to Canada. That sounds pretty cool to me. The Reddit crowd had thoughts. As always, 40k karma in 3 weeks? Damn edit, another 40k in 1 day? Keep being a karma whore, Limeo. The edit is what gets me. He came back specifically to update his insult with new information. That's dedication. Honestly, same energy as her. All the best in your karma whoring. Take an upvote on me and enjoy your trip to Canada. Canada. 8 years on Reddit, and this man still can't spell Canada. But the energy is wholesome, so I'll allow it. I love this. I had no clue you could become a karma whore. Congrats on making the title. Genuinely sounds like a LinkedIn achievement. Promoted to karma whore after 3 weeks. Put it on your CV. Well, from a Canadian who hopes you make the journey to our incredible country, I sent you an upvote. A real Canadian showed up to personally support her mission. This is the most wholesome international diplomacy I've ever seen, and it started with a smug face in a pub. Alright, from wholesome chaos to something a little more legally questionable. I broke up with my boyfriend because he yelled at me. I'm a 29-year-old woman. He and I dated for about 8 months. Our relationship was fine. We did things together, we had fun. There weren't any obvious red flags, but I always got this feeling that he didn't value me much. At times, he seemed a bit cold and acted like he was annoyed with me for no apparent reason. It all came to a head when, 3 days ago when we were hanging out at my place, he asked me to hand him the TV remote. I was sitting right next to him on the couch and was working on my laptop. I reached for the remote without looking and accidentally handed him my phone instead. I thought it was funny after I realized what I had done. I laughed as I handed him the actual remote. He had that same annoyed look on his face. He began yelling at me and called me a stupid bitch. I was stunned. I have never raised my voice at him or disrespected him in any way. I did not deserve to be treated this way. I told him our relationship was over and asked him to leave. He told me to calm down and stop overreacting. I simply walked to the front door, opened it wide, and told him to get out and never come back. He walked out telling me I was being dramatic. The very next day, I returned the presents he had given me. They meant nothing to me now. My friends are telling me that I did overreact and I shouldn't just end a relationship because he yelled at me once, and have asked me to patch things up. His friends too began harassing me on social media. I blocked them all. His friends, not mine. I'm not going to reach out to him to try to work things out, as some people have suggested, because I know that I do not deserve this treatment. I've always treated him with respect, and I deserve that in return. I just needed to tell somebody. Thank you for reading. Here's what nobody wants to say out loud. She didn't break up with him because he yelled once. She broke up with him because he yelled once and told her she was overreacting and walked out calling her dramatic and never once apologized. That's not one bad moment. That's a man showing you exactly who he is in 4 consecutive moves. She read it correctly. Her friends did not. And read it for once was fully on the right side of this. Hang on. He shouted and swore at you for absent-mindedly handing him a phone over a remote, but it's you who is overreacting? And why are your friends so keen for you to go out with him anyway? How does he benefit them? The second question is the one that nobody asked, but everybody needed to hear. Why are her friends fighting so hard for this guy? What exactly is in it for them? I'd be looking sideways at those friends too. My friends are telling me that I did overreact, and I shouldn't just end a relationship because he yelled at me once. Somehow I find this even more vexing. Even more vexing. This comment was written by someone who was physically incapable of swearing, and I respect the restraint. Because yeah, the friends are somehow the second worst part of this whole story. I absolutely love your boundaries and how you see things clearly. It was definitely the right decision. He didn't even try to apologize but forced you to work things out with him and accused you of being dramatic. You don't need that kind of energy in your life. This is the comment she needed to read. And the detail that keeps getting buried, he never apologized. Not once. Not even a sorry. I was having a bad day. Nothing. That tells you everything. You're not overreacting. Seems like you dodged a bullet to me. Short, correct, no notes. Okay, deep breath. That one had some weight to it. Next story is a completely different kind of chaos. He made my life a living hell. He would turn all the boys in class against me and bully me about my eyebrows. One time he begged me to buy him pizza and said he promises not to bully me all week if I do. So I bought him a box of pizza and he fulfilled his promise. I loved the idea. I began to do it on a regular basis. I started asking him every Friday what he wants next week so that the bullying doesn't happen again. He asked for 2 bags of hot fries, a potato chip flavor here in the US, and another time he wanted some milk from the cafeteria, and once he asked for colored pencils for art class. My school had a uniform dress code. It was $25 per shirt and the pants were $15, if I remember correctly. He showed up the first day of 8th grade in regular clothes, a tee and jeans, so he got sent to the main office to wait for his parents. My aunt was there because she used to drop off my lunch and hand me money to buy food after school. She saw him upset and asked what's wrong, and he starts crying lightly. His parents wouldn't come because they couldn't afford the uniform. and decided it would be best to avoid the situation. After my aunt hands me my lunch, she buys him a uniform hoodie, a couple of tees, and a long sleeve. He said he had pants at home and he was hesitant to accept, but eventually took them and thanked her. Now 13 years later, he runs a nonprofit that has something to do with kids receiving books. I think it's sweet and I forgive him for being a bully because he didn't grow up to be in a hole like most bullies. I was ready to be annoyed on this kid's behalf the entire story. Bullied about his eyebrows, paying protection money in hot fries. That's genuinely rough. And then the uniform scene hit and I wasn't ready for it. Colored pencils for art class. He was asking for colored pencils. I need a minute. The comments on this one were quieter than usual, in the best way. Thank you for granting the forgiveness to your bully that I cannot seem to give to mine. I know it's toxic to hold the grudge I do, but I guess that some things that I let go of are destined to be covered in claw marks. Destined to be covered in claw marks. That's not a Reddit comment, that's a line from a novel. And honestly, nobody is obligated to forgive. This person isn't wrong for holding on. Some things leave marks that don't go away just because time passed. So many kids who bully others do so because they are so damaged and hurt in some way. It is absolutely heartbreaking as a teacher to see from all sides. A teacher showed up in the comments, and I actually believe this one. The colored pencils detail, that's the whole story right there. A kid who needed art supplies so badly he worked it into his bullying schedule. That's not a villain, that's a kid nobody was taking care of. This is both sad and uplifting. 4 words. Completely accurate, nothing to add. Alright, I need to shake that off. Next one is lighter, much lighter. Around 7 p.m. today, I heard some knocking on my door. I opened it and it was my next door pregnant neighbor. She was, I think, in her 7th or 8th month. She was holding a small plate in her hand. In a very shy voice, she asked me if I can give her some of whatever I was cooking, because she liked the smell. I think pregnant women sometimes have strong cravings and they cannot resist it. Anyway, she was shy and apologized a lot for her request since we don't know each other. I laughed and told her it is okay. I was cooking a traditional meal from my country, and the recipe has olive oil, garlic, jalapenos, and some spices. I think the smell was nice. I gave her some of my dinner, then she left. I watched her walking home like a cute little penguin who's happy with her successful little hunting. I felt really happy too for some reason. GLISHA's reaction. Cute little penguin who's happy with her successful little hunting. I don't know who this person is, but that might be the most perfectly written sentence in Reddit history. She came. She smelled the jalapenos. She conquered. And this neighbor just gave her food and felt happy about it. This is what humans are supposed to be like. A cute little penguin who's happy with her successful little hunting. I don't know who this person is, but that might be the most perfectly written sentence in Reddit history. She came. She smelled the jalapenos. She conquered. And this neighbor just gave her food and felt happy about it. This is what humans are supposed to be like. Even the comments on this one are just nice, which almost never happens. My mom said in Iranian villages, it's a custom that if a pregnant woman smells something cooking down the street and craves it, she knocks on the door, and the people offer her some of the food. So she wasn't just following a craving, she was following a centuries-old tradition and didn't even know it. Or maybe she did. Either way, this detail made the whole story 10 times better, and I wasn't expecting that from a Reddit comment at all. This is precious. You should offer to host them for a dinner party or something. Make friends with your neighbors. Honestly, correct advice. The jalapeno smell already did the networking. Just follow through at this point. It can be completely overwhelming when you get those pregnancy cravings. Nothing in that moment is as important as what is needed. It was very sweet of you to share. Nothing in that moment is as important as what is needed. That's just pregnancy described perfectly in one sentence. The woman had a mission. She completed it. Respect. Okay, I need to be honest with you. The colored pencils one stayed with me. I've read a lot of Reddit. A lot. And that detail. A kid bullying someone just enough to afford art supplies. That's the kind of thing that reframes an entire story in one sentence. I wasn't ready for it, and I don't think you were either. The penguin neighbor came in second. Don't ask me to explain that. Comment below which story hit you hardest. I genuinely want to know if we're all broken in the same place. Subscribe, share this with someone who needs it, and I'll see you in the next one.